Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Mr. McKain, and this is the tutorial video for Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi. So first things first, we're going to go through the chords that you need to play this song. I've included two different kinds of music. You have the chords and the lyrics from ultimateguitar.com. If you want to go there yourself, be my guest, it's an excellent resource. There's also the notation and a different set of chords, which I've included for an extension exercise if you want, and also it's a good guide if you're unsure as to the structure of the track, and especially if you're playing this for an exam or if somebody is marking you on it, then you want to be using this sheet music. I've provided tab and notation as a guide for the way you play it. So first things first, we have 5 chords. I'm going to go through them in the order they are on the Ultimate Guitar sheet music. So we have C major. This is a really important chord to know. So with all these chord shapes, in fact, I would recommend that you get them in your brain and you know them well enough that you can play them just like that off the top of your head. If you have a guitar at home, I would recommend even just sitting in front of the TV and not necessarily strumming the guitar, but trying to do the chord shapes, trying to get your fingers into the right position so that when you actually come to play guitar and you can make a sound, as it were, then your muscle memory will be there and you'll remember how to do it. Alright, so the first chord is C major, and it sounds like this. So we're playing all 6 strings, and we're using our first 3 fingers. We're putting our first finger on the first fret on the 2nd string. So then we're putting our second finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, or the D string. And then we're putting our third finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, or the A string. So for those of you who might be confused, I'm counting the highest string in terms of note. That's the highest note. That's the lowest note. The highest string is 1, it's E, and the lowest string is 6, it's also E. It goes E, A, D, G, B, E. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So back to our C chord, we have our first finger, first fret, 2nd string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 4th string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 5th string, and we strum it. It's a beautiful C major sound. Then we have our G chord. This is a slightly more difficult one to do because you've got your first finger. Well, it sounds like this. It's a lovely warm sounding full chord. But we have our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. We have our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the lowest string of the 6th string. And then all the way up here, we have our 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the highest string of string 1. So all together, that sounds like that. The next chord on the sheet is A minor. So it sounds like this. It's our first minor chord. Generally speaking, major chords, happy kind of sounding. Minor chords, sad sounding. So minor, A minor. This one, we're excluding our low E string, or our 6th string. We're not playing that. So we're playing our first finger, 1st fret, 2nd string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 4th string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 3rd string. Sounds like this. As I said, take some time, go over these chords. Use the chord diagrams provided, use the internet if you have access to the internet, use this video. Ingrain them in your mind so that you know how to play them. The next chord we have is F. So the way that is played is not how I would recommend you play it. So the way I would play F for you guys is taking your first finger, you want to play the first fret on your first and second string. You want to bar them. So they're sounding, what am I trying to say? So you play them at the same time with one finger. Then your second finger, you put on the second fret of the third string. You can already hear that major sound. And then your third finger, you put on the third fret of the fourth string. So this is an easier way of playing F major, and it sounds like this. The way that's telling you is more or less the same shape, but you're doing a bar chord, and it sounds like this. You're using all 6 strings, but it's much harder to play because especially bar chords mean that you bar the entire, all 6 strings, and especially on that first fret, the tension is really high, so it's hard to push down. Last chord we have is D minor. So it sounds like this. Again, that sad sounding chord. Ouch. That sad sounding chord. And we're only using the highest 4 strings. So we're excluding strings 5 and 6, such as 5 and 6, strings A and E. So it sounds like this, one more time. Alright, so D minor, you got your first finger on the first fret on the first string, second finger on the third fret on the third string, third finger on the third fret on the second string. It's a little bit of a twister of a chord, but here we go. Once again, use the chord diagram to help you use this video. So now we know all of our chords. We're going to switch over and we're going to use the sheet music with the tab and notation. All this does is it shows us how long to play each chord. So right at the start of this music, you can see 4/4, which is the time signature, and that means we're counting the music in 4. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see intro, that first bar, the beats are in quavers. So that means we're counting in half beats. So crotchets is 1, quavers is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the way we're going to play this first chord, C major, is just as is written. So your C major shape, and we're going to go quaver rhythm, counting to 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then it's the same with the next chord, G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we have A minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then F major. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Take a bit of time, practice that. Once you have it, that's almost the whole song. Those 4 chords in that order. So, little side note here. It says on the first bar, capo fret 1. What that means is if you want it to sound like Lewis Capaldi and you want to be able to play along with him, you have to use a special device called a capo, which basically bars your guitar for you and means that you can play chords higher. I don't have one on me just now, and I'm going to play this as is written so that you guys can play along with me. You can't, though, use these chords to play along with the original track. These chords are much easier to play. If you feel like you want the challenge, go look up the original chords, try and play them. They're difficult. So we have our 4 bars of intro. We have C and 2 and 3 and 4, G and 2 and 3 and 4, and A minor 2, 3, 3 and 4, and F 2, 3, 4. You can see above each of these bars that we're just counting to 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole bar. First chord is C above the notation. Then it's G, then it's A minor, then it's F. Really easy. We just follow them. We don't need to look at the tab just now. The verse is the same as the intro. C and 2 and 3 and 4 and G and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3 and 4 and G and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor and 2 and 4. Now we come to the bridge. The bridge just uses D minor. It's the same strumming pattern, but we're using slightly different chords. So our first chord, as you can see, D minor on the bridge. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A minor. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. G major. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor again. Third line of the second page, D minor, A minor, G major. And then you'll see on the fourth line, there's a little square. That means a rest. So you basically don't play anything for 4 beats. What I'll say, some of you might have noticed that sometimes I play my G majors instead of using these 3 fingers, I use these 3 fingers. For me, I find that an easier way to play G major. You go second finger, third finger, fourth finger, because it allows you to go. It allows you a little bit more access around the neck. You don't have to do that at all, just so that you know if I'm playing that, you are playing it correctly, you're not playing it wrong, I'm just doing it slightly different. Sometimes I slip into that absent-mindedly. So once we get to the chorus, we're playing once again chords we already know, but see how we have notes that are whole circles, they're empty circles. What that means is we hold them for 4. So we're going C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, like that. Just holding it, not playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're just holding that note. I've gone through all the different bits, all the building blocks you should have to be able to play this song. Everything else, the next bit is just C, G, A minor. We've played it in the same rhythm before. F, C, G, A minor, F. Then the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars are holding it again. 2, 3, 4, A minor. 3, 4, F. And then the last bar you probably just want to finish on C. The next video I'm going to be making is a playthrough of this song. So as I mentioned before, you won't be able to play along with the original, but I'm going to play it, and you'll hopefully be able to play along with me. Thank you very much. I'm Mr. McKain. This is Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi, the tutorial on how to play it. The chordy version. I suppose I should say, actually, now that I remember, the actual tab, if you're feeling brave and you want to try and play it, do that. Don't be afraid, feel free to push yourself and actually play the notes that are written. So you're... If you can do that, and if you want to go onto that extension task, be my guest. Why don't you film yourself playing it, and then share it with us on Twitter. Share it with me. My name's at Mr. F. McKain, I believe. Feel free to share that video. Thank you very much once again, Mr. McKain, Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi, the tutorial.